I was talking to one of my guy friends today about dating, and he recently got into a relationship. He's in his like mid 20s. And I was thinking to myself, how refreshing is it to talk to a male friend of mine who is like super excited to be in a relationship? And he was saying how, he's super happy in this relationship, but he sometimes gets a little stressed around this idea of committing. And I thought to myself, what is so scary around commitment? Why is this like the common denominator of what every man says that they're afraid of? This idea of commitment. And he was like, well, it's like we're, locking it in. And I'm thinking to myself, you just started dating this girl. You're not putting a ring on her finger. Like, she's not asking that right now. And yes, maybe that's what this could lead to eventually, but I think we tend to psych ourselves out because we think we make a choice and that choice is final, and if we date, then we must marry this person, or it's super serious and it's going to lead to XYZ. And the problem with that line of thinking is that it future trips us, and we start living as if the future has already happened, but like that's not even guaranteed. And so what I kind of try to come back to is this truth that the next day is never guaranteed in life. The only thing that is real is the here and the now and the present. And I think that a lot of our stress and anxiety comes from this like anticipation of the future. But when we get anxious over the future, we kind of sour what's right in front of us. So it's important to just enjoy and be grateful and cherish the moments that you do have and be appreciative of that. And when it comes to dating and relationships and just like men having this fear of commitment, my advice or like what I want to offer and share to the world is, instead of fearing this idea of commitment, just like get excited to have experience in life and enjoy the act of experiencing rather than freaking yourself out over consequences of your actions down the line.
It's not fear of commitment, it's fear of vulnerability. It's really easy to stay detached when you haven't made any commitments, but the second you do, your emotional well-being is now almost completely in the hands of that person, which is scary because that person isn't yourself, and you have little to no control over their decisions.
There was a woman that wanted to find out what it was actually like to live as a man, and what she reported should wake all of you up. She cut her hair, she lowered her voice, and she lived as Ned for over a year. And what happened to her is the part that most people don't like hearing. After the experiment, she had a severe depressive breakdown, and she checked herself into a psychiatric facility. Years later, she chose medically assisted in Switzerland. Her name was Nora Vincent. These are the harsh realities that she said men endure. Number one, dating is a gauntlet. As a woman, you naturally get approached. As a man, you do the approaching. You risk rejection every single time. You risk being humiliated every single time. And she literally was stunned by how cold women could be to men that they weren't interested in. She said being a man felt like you're guilty until proven innocent, boring until proven valuable. You don't get any grace. You get tested. Number two, men live in an emotional straitjacket. If a man shows real pain, people get uncomfortable. He's told to man up. He gets looked at differently, even by women who say they want a sensitive man. She said it felt like a man's value wasn't who he was naturally. It was what he could do, what he could provide, and what he could endure. Number three, invisibility. Unless a man is high status or extremely attractive, he's background noise. He gets no compliments, no smiles, and no validation at all. Not like the women, nothing. And on top of that, she literally felt the constant pressure of being seen as a threat, a creep, just for existing in public. Imagine walking around feeling like you're automatically suspicious. That messes with your head. Number four, male hierarchy is real. Men test each other. Confidence, dominance, and their boundaries. If you don't push back, you get eaten alive. You get bullied, and then you get disrespected. Some men learn to harden up because that's how you survive in male spaces. Number five, the silent loneliness. This was the one that ended up crushing her. She said that men suffer in silence. They don't talk because deep down they believe something horrible. Nobody actually wants to hear it, so they isolate themselves. They bond around just activities, work, sports, projects. But when it comes to real emotional support, many men have none. And she described that as emotional malnutrition, a form of starvation that most people never even notice. These are her last words. Men are suffering. They have different problems than women have, but they are not better off. They need our help, they need our love, and they need each other more than anything else. Rest in peace, Nora.
I'm so glad Nora's story is finally getting around more. God bless you for supporting awareness to this, and above all, her story. Bottom line, don't outsource your happiness. Your happiness should be internal. Unfortunately, these are just the facts of life for the average man. You have no choice but to literally just get on with it. Invisibility, undesired, loneliness just becomes part of who you are with the opposite sex. Sad but true.
I gave the nice guy a chance and he has been my biggest disappointment so far. Now by nice guy, I mean the guy that I typically would not have given a chance. Now this is a guy I of course met on Hinge, and the only reason I matched with him is because, well, one, I was feeling a little bit discouraged as it was, but I also noticed that he had liked me more than once. So now some reasons why I wouldn't have typically given this guy a chance. For one, he just wasn't my physical type. Two, he's 26, I'm 34, and those were the main two factors. So we match on Hinge, and he immediately messages me. And he's super conversational, super nice, using lots of emojis, seemingly very interested, giving me compliments, just being a really nice guy. And I was like, wow, okay. I still wasn't entirely sure because I wasn't really attracted to him. So I was being maybe a little bit short, but he was really fighting through that. And I appreciated it. I even told him at one point, I was like, you know what? I wasn't really sure about you, but you are really nice and I'm really enjoying our conversation. And I appreciate that. Now, we met on Hinge, and maybe 2 days later, he was asking me if I wanted to go on a date the following week. He asked me if I wanted to go get coffee the following Sunday. And I was like, yeah, sure. I love a man with a plan. Let's do it. Shortly after that, he asks me for my Instagram. We move the conversation over to Instagram and we talk for a few days there. And it was fine. He was super nice, super conversational, and everything was great. Let's fast forward to Tuesday. So Tuesday, he's talking about what he's having for dinner. It was super late, like maybe not super late, like 8:30. And he was like, oh, I ate dinner, but I want something else. And so I was like, oh yeah, like I don't know what I'm gonna make for dinner tomorrow. I don't have my kids. So I was telling him that Wednesday I don't have my kids. And I didn't really expect him to do much with that information. He was just like, yeah, well, dang, if I didn't have physical therapy and didn't have to work late and whatever, I would say, let's go eat. I was like, that's fine. So then Wednesday rolls around, we're texting just like normal, and he tells me, I have a proposition for you. What if I change around my physical therapy, I go earlier, and we can go to dinner? I'm like, wow, like that is so kind, so thoughtful, so intentional. Absolutely, let's do it. He says, do you want me to pick you up? I'm like, what? Chivalry is not dead. Let's do it. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. He's super nice. He's on time. He tells me he's made it to my house, whatever. I come out. He gets out of his car. He says, can I open the door for you? I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Aside from the fact that he honestly looked better in his pictures, and again, you guys, I already wasn't like super physically attracted to him. So I was like, again, this is not someone that I would typically go for, and looked better online. We go to a restaurant that's very close, as a matter of fact, to my house. It's great. We have great conversation. Nothing ever feels awkward. Everything goes swimmingly well. He's so nice. He's so kind. He opens all the doors. He does all the things. He pays for the bill without hesitation. Literally could not have been better. It's just like what everybody wants in a date. The date ends. He takes me home and he reiterates and says, are we still going to coffee Sunday? I'm like, yeah, definitely. He's like, yeah, the coffee shop is super close to my house. I can show you like my neighborhood and all that stuff. I'm like, that sounds great. Okay. So we had plans for coffee for a full week. So we are still texting up that beyond that point. Everything is great, right? He texts me Saturday night, Saturday evening-ish. Mind you, he had gone golfing with his dad on Friday and his friends on Saturday. He texted me Saturday evening asking me if I can move up our coffee date to be earlier. He said he had to go to church at 8 and he had to go golfing with his friends at noon. That was never part of the plan. That was never mentioned to me. That was never brought up. That was never part of the plan. Now, I won't lie to you, this did not sit super well with me because it made me feel like out of all of his plans, I was the adjustable one. And I told him, no, I really can't do that. I had my reasons, but my biggest reason was just because I found it to be kind of rude. But also I have children and he knows that. He is fully aware that I have kids, okay? Keep in mind, he's 26. He tells me, okay, like that's fine. Are you busy in the evening? I can take you to dinner instead. I'm like, great, that sounds wonderful. Let's do dinner instead. That's fine. So dinner's the plan. Sunday morning rolls around. I don't hear from him until probably like 10 a.m. when he tells me that he got so drunk with his friends the night before, he didn't go to church, he's about to go to the gym and then go golfing. Now, not only did I not like that, but he still hadn't confirmed a time or place for our date later that day. Again, that was probably the part that I didn't like the most. So I sent him a message and I'm just like, hey, like I love that you have hobbies and friends and all of that stuff, but I do have a little bit more like limited time than you. I just would appreciate if you would be a little bit more considerate of my time. I felt like you were kind of pushing our plans for plans that didn't exist before, and I just didn't really appreciate that. But if you are wanting to make solid plans for tonight, please let me know, okay? He took, I want to say 3 hours to respond to that. So he didn't respond to that message until probably 2:30 in the afternoon. So by this point in my mind, the date was not happening. I was going to cancel because I felt like I wasn't being considered. He responded and was like, you know what, I'm sorry, that is really my bad. I am so sorry to make you feel that way. That was not my purpose at all. And was very nice about it, but then was like, and I can't even go on the date tonight anyways, I have to cancel. I do have to backtrack a little bit because when we were on our date, we were talking about ghosting and how like once you save someone's number in your phone, typically they ghost you and get weird. And I was like, I'm not the ghosting type. I will never ghost you. If I'm not interested anymore, I will let you know. He's like, same, like I would never ghost someone. I would definitely never ghost you. So that was a conversation that we had. Guess what this man did? I'll give you one guess. He ghosted me. I never heard from him again. Texted him and was like, you know what, like you're a really nice guy. I think you'll make someone very happy one day. I'm a woman of my word. I said I would never ghost, blah, 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 blah. And I wish you all the best. Never heard back. If I'm being honest with you guys, the only thing I can think of that really makes logical sense is that he met up with his friends and they talked him out of it. They were like, you're 26, what are you doing? She's a 34-year-old mom. Get it together. And that's how the nice guy extremely disappointed me.
You told him it wasn't going to work out. That's not him ghosting you.
Why do boys literally not give a shit about each other? And follow-up question, why are they confused when you're confused about their lack of knowledge? Like, say you're talking to a guy and you're like, oh, you hung out with Billy the other day. How'd it go? Good. Nothing too crazy. And then a week later, it's like, oh yeah, Billy and Sally broke up. Forgot to tell you about that. And you're like, oh my gosh, why did Billy and Sally break up? I don't know. You ask another question. I don't know. And then you're like, how do you not have the answer to any of this? What was I supposed to ask? Him and Sally broke up. Like, that's all I need to know. Him and Sally are done. And you're like, oh my God, I have a million questions you could have asked. There is literally a million different questions you could ask if someone says that to you. And you just don't care. You don't care. None of you care. Boys never care about each other. They're like, what? Literally, what else would I ask? It's like, oh my God. Oh my God.
We care enough not to ask because we know how long it actually takes trauma to be processed, and we want each other to go through the process without interruption. It's a whole month, and by that time, we forget. We are there to keep each other company while watching a game or something to distract from the pain. Y'all are asking a million questions so you can go gossip and spread the wrong info about the situation. Things that appear important to women are unimportant to men. Why would we interfere with someone else's life? It is their life. Gossip destroys things further.
on a second. So you're really telling me that you're leaving your house to go on a coffee date? And you're trying to convince me that that is a real date. That's not a real date. That's a vibe check. That's a vibe check. He's not being intentional, and that is not investment. And if that is how you're starting off with that man, it's not going anywhere. And I don't need to be psychic to tell you that. It's going nowhere. Because in the beginning, if a man is not trying to impress you, he doesn't care enough, okay? He does not give an F. What are you doing? It's 2025. Raise those standards, baby. Raise them, okay?
See, this is exactly why men are switching to coffee dates instead of dinner. She's saying if a man's not trying to impress you from the start, it's going nowhere. But that's not standards, that's entitlement. And honestly, I don't blame men for catching on. Men are tired. They're tired of putting in effort, time, energy, and money just to get ghosted, disrespected, or used for attention and free meals. And we as women helped create that. We turned dating into a performance test instead of a connection. Now it's like men have to prove themselves before they're even shown genuine interest, effort, or femininity. It's almost as if somewhere along the way, dating became transactional. We stopped asking, do I like this man? And started asking, what can I get from him? And when a man offers a coffee date, suddenly it's low effort or he's not serious. No, he's just smart. Like, a coffee date isn't disrespectful. It's a man saying, let me see who you really are before I invest more. Because a lot of women have shown that they'll fake interest for a free dinner, post it online, and disappear the next day. So men are protecting their time. They're not being cheap. They're being cautious. And I totally respect that. If your entire definition of effort is tied to how much money a man spends on you before he even knows you, that's not confidence. That's entitlement. Because effort isn't about the price tag, it's about intention. And if you're really a woman who's ready for love, you'll show up with grace, curiosity, and good energy, whether the date is coffee or dinner. Because you understand that the connection is the reward, not the drink or the bill. And yes, if that first date goes well, if the vibe is there, of course the second date can be dinner. That's the natural flow. But demanding a grand gesture before you've even proven your value, that's what's ruining dating. Coffee dates don't expose broke men, they expose entitled women. If you need a dinner bill to feel valued, you're not dating, you're auditioning for a sponsor. Real genuine connection doesn't need a price tag. Real women bring value wherever they go, and real men recognize that instantly, no matter what's in the cup.
Coffee date is a vibe check. Yeah, that's kind of the point. Just checking to see if she's worth my time. The first 30 to 60 minutes tell you a lot of useful information. Coffee dates aren't impress you dates, they're get to know you dates. And they demonstrate a stronger desire for who you are than a $150 meal.
Like, actually? Like, actually. I can't believe he actually let the door slam in my face. That's actually crazy.
Imagine just leaving an establishment and a girl you didn't even notice records herself not being able to open a door and blaming you. You're a strong, independent woman. You got that. He is not required to do anything for you.
Guys, a real life man just commented on one of my TikToks and said, what do you have to offer? Like, what do you bring to the table? Guys, there really are DL men among us everywhere. Everybody wants a boyfriend now. How am I supposed to find a boyfriend if I'm competing with men too?
You do realize even if a man doesn't ask, he's definitely thinking it, right? Does anyone go into a romantic relationship thinking, oh, I can't wait to be in a relationship where the other person doesn't reciprocate? No! Why is it's okay for women to have all these expectations out of dating, but men can't want anything? Anything at all. Otherwise, he's shamed for it, or he's considered wanting a man. So what do you do when a man asks you that question? Well, what do you have to offer? You a good cook? Good at cleaning? Are you kind, sweet, loving? Are you nurturing? It's really not a hard question to answer. You just say what you bring. It's that simple. I've also noticed some men are more likely to ask you that question if they sense that you could be entitled. So by responding the way that you did, you probably just proved his point and why he needed to ask that question to begin with.
It's so sad they think the only way to make themselves feel better is to call a man gay, and probably part of the same party that supports the Alphabet Soup Squad too.